What's up, YouTube fam? Good morning, good morning, good morning. As you can see, we're in a hospital. For those that don't know, my wife was pregnant. You might have seen it in some of the videos. But we had a scare death.
Again, they might have
Oh,
seen Yara.
right.
I had Yara November 2nd, 2020, and we got pregnant again, like New Year's 2021. So I was just pregnant again with our third daughter.
Right. Dang. All right, but yeah. Anyways, we had a near-death experience, I guess.
Another one. Because as some of you may know, before we were ever doing vlogging or anything, a lot of you guys know just from being around us that I almost died having Kaza, our second son, due to preeclampsia. And this time, my whole uterus ruptured.
Yeah.
A couple of days ago, and I was having bad pains, and was basically about to die, me and our daughter. And they don't understand, well, they know why it happened, but they don't understand how we lived so long, basically.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to sum it up, but
Well, I guess we can start off how, the day went that day, leading up till we got to here.
okay. I have gaps though from them putting me out.
Well,
I
yeah,
don't
then when you
remember
get to that part,
everything.
then I'll be able to explain. But you want to explain how you woke up that morning?
I just remember we woke up like any other normal morning, being childish, playing, and then I just randomly started getting that pain, and I jumped up, and then it hit harder and harder. I guess that was my first tear, and I didn't know that I was tearing. Well, no, because remember that night before, or like evening before, it hurt when I urinated when I went to the restroom, but I didn't think anything of it. I just thought that, sometimes baby ride too low. Sometimes, they bear down and you feel a lot of pressure in your private areas or in your hips or something. So I thought it was one of those. But I did recognize it was the same pain when I made it to the emergency room and I tried to use the restroom.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of had to tie both of those together. But it was just a very, very excruciating pain. And I'm not a hospital person. I don't go to hospitals. I don't go to doctors. I have my own trust issues. I question everything. That's just the type of person I am. So I want to say around, it was like 10-ish, when it first started.
Yeah, around 10:30.
I'm having all these pains or whatever, and it's to the point where it's bringing me to my knees. And I'm crying, and I'm trying my hardest not to cry because I don't cry, and he's looking like, go to the hospital. And I'm like, no, I can handle it. Just give me some time. I'm going to breathe it out. It's going to go away. Because I feel like every time I go to the hospital, they always say something's normal. Your ultrasound's normal. Your blood work's normal. Go home.
Mm-hmm.
It's a waste of time. I can be at home with my babies. I can be cooking something, cleaning something, laughing at something. I can be doing something more interesting with my time than sitting in a cold hospital. So, I tried to wait it out. I dealt with the pain in increments. It went on for like the first 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Then I had like a good 10-15 minute break. I laid back down, caught my breath or whatever. Thought I was fine. You were talking to someone on the phone. I don't remember who it was.
I was talking to Tony.
Oh, okay. And I remember I laid behind you and I put my head on your shoulder. And then the pain came again. So I'm back up. It like jolts me out the bed. And I'm holding my stomach and I'm bent over and I'm holding my knees and I'm trying to breathe. And he's like, you're having contractions. And I'm like, no, it's not contractions. I know what contractions feel like. This is not contractions. Contractions start from the top and, work down in kind of like waves. It tightens and releases. It doesn't hold 8 minutes straight. And it was all lower. It was just hurting, just sharp pains. My lower back started getting attacked. So that really made him believe that I was having contractions, and he like, let's go to the hospital, let's go to the hospital. I'm like, nah.
Yeah, I'm always saying let's go. So
Yeah.
as soon as shit happen, I'm ready to go to the hospital.
So
'Cause I don't know, I'm not a doctor, and you ain't a doctor either, so that'll be my first thing. Let's go.
I'm like, no, they're gonna tell me it's just round ligament pains. They're just gonna tell me it's round ligament pains. That's all they're gonna keep saying. Like, I don't want to go for that. Like, I don't want to drive to the hospital for them to sit me there and run some tests to tell me everything's normal, go home, to stretch, to get a ball or something like that. Like, I've been through this before. It's not my first pregnancy. And they came, so I'm like, okay. I get another break. After about like another 30 minutes, me bent over on the bed, I'm crying. It finally slowed down. I'm like, she's not moving. So I'm like, okay. At this stage, I'm 29 weeks and 5 days. You're supposed to start kick counts. And that's, counting everything. Every movement, every kick, every roll, nudge, all of that. You're supposed to have like, count to 10. You should have like 10 within like an hour's worth of period, unless the baby's sleeping. There shouldn't be no bigger gap than like 2-3 hours or whatever the case may be. I know this. Again, this is not my first pregnancy. So I'm noticing during all of this pain, at this point, it's like an hour and a half that went by. I'm not feeling her. She's not moving. I'm like, David, she's not moving. Maybe she sleeps. So by the time the second wave of all these pains and stuff, and I catch my breath, wipe my face, compose myself, I'm like, I'm gonna go downstairs. So I'm gonna go downstairs. He's like, you going downstairs? I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go downstairs and eat. Maybe I need to eat, sugar makes the baby move, get something. So by the time I make it downstairs and I get to the kitchen and I pull the refrigerator door open, all the pain's hitting again. And now I'm by myself in the kitchen. I don't got the lights on, nothing. It's kind of dimmed. So I like collapse a little bit and I'm holding on to the bar and I'm trying to compose myself. I'm like, oh my God, like what the hell? So I pull myself around the counter, and it happened to be a bunch of bananas at the other end going towards the breakfast nook, and there was a knife there, so I cut me a banana off, and I'm bent over and I'm trying to eat it as fast as possible because something has to give. I want her to, in my head, she's just too low. I need to get her to move up from out of my pelvic area, out of my vaginal area. It's too much pressure, it's hurting. So I want to feed her, move her, make her move around or whatever the case may be. So I'm trying to walk towards the living room and another pain hit. And I collapse one knee. And at this point, I'm yelling his name because I'm like, okay, yeah, something's not right. So I'm calling his phone and yelling his name at the same time. I don't know why my phone wouldn't go through and I was right downstairs, my call. But he heard me yelling, so he came downstairs putting on clothes like he knew. And I'm like, we're going to the hospital. He's like, you ready? He ran upstairs, grabbed my purse, and put me in the car, but I couldn't sit down. It hurt really bad when I tried to sit down.
My ass went to the hospital. I ain't have on no drawers, some shorts, no socks.
So I couldn't sit down. They get me in there, and they just had me waiting, just sitting there. And at this point, he's getting frustrated because he don't know what's going on. And apparently, we went to a hospital that doesn't have a baby ward, a labor and delivery, a NICU, nothing to do with babies. Where we're from in Vegas, every hospital has a little bit of something. In Houston, it's not like that, and we didn't know that. So we went to the nearest emergency room.
Right, no, we went in HCA. I didn't know it was multiple HCAs. I just remember the doctor gave me a piece of paper saying
that said that I was delivering at a HCA.
So I assumed it was that one.
But again, we didn't know that.
That was just one, as soon as I was driving HCA, and it just took me straight there. And I didn't know. So we're there. Go ahead, finish the story, babe.
I don't know. We was just sitting in the waiting room, waiting. They wouldn't check us in. Well, we checked in on the kiosk. But they're like calling other people's name that came after us, and he's getting frustrated. So he sees what are those people, the registers?
Registered or whatever.
Like, is y'all gonna call her name? Her name's LaShanique Hines. Like, basically, I'm gonna call it for you. Like, and they're like, oh, she's next. And they had to bring the doctor back, say she was helping a kid with a BB stuck in his ear, something. But in total, I was at that hospital for 5 hours for nothing because they couldn't help me. They didn't have no monitors. He had to go stand in the hallway to be seen when they did bring me back because they didn't check the baby heartbeat. And we're telling them, like, she's not moving. She hasn't moved in hours at this point. She's not moving.
Then they wait like till like 3-4 hours.
They don't have Dopplers
to say, "Oh, we're not a labor and delivery hospital." Then what the fuck are we here for? Y'all got us sitting here as for an emergency, but y'all don't have nothing to deal with babies here. Why are we here?
Just sitting there.
So they want to try to transfer her in a ambulance. I guess HCA has their own ambulance. And I'm like, dude, we can just call 911 or something, have you over there. I could just take you.
Because it took them an hour and a half for paramedics to get there.
Yeah, and I could have just took her myself. Every time I tried, we were about to leave. I suggest y'all not do that because if anything happens while you're driving, that whole little speech. And then they not communicating with the hospital over here, so it was a bunch of bullshit. But when they finally did come, I left. I went to the house to check on the kids, and her friend Julia followed her over there, and I met them up there. But
I started bleeding in the hospital.
Oh, okay, said,
yeah. My doctor, when she finally did the surgery here at this hospital and stuff, she kept telling me she don't understand how first of all, she said everything happens for a reason. Everything's aligned. I was well protected by my ancestors and whatnot, because with the full rupture, basically my whole uterus ripped in half with the baby and stuff. And she was saying with that, it didn't make sense from the other hospital how I randomly start bleeding, because you don't bleed vaginally when that happens. That usually happens when your placenta is separating from your walls or whatever. So when they first told her that, she assumed it was that. But my stomach wasn't hard. When they was checking my stomach, she was like, that would make my uterus rock hard, but it wasn't. It was soft, so it wasn't making sense. She was like, if I didn't randomly start bleeding there, they wouldn't have started my transfer to the other hospital. And they would have just left me there and I would have died, basically. She was like, it didn't make sense. You're not supposed to bleed when stuff like that happens. When your uterus rupture, you don't vaginally bleed. Nothing happens. You just feel the pain. She said, but it took you telling them that 4 hours later, 3.5 hours later, for them to take you serious and decide to start your transfer.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, you were supposed to die. You were supposed to been dead. You and the baby. She said, and the fact that they were telling you that your baby was not moving, your baby wasn't moving on purpose. She said, because you've always explained basically how your baby's active. You always feel her. But that day, she was like, when I cut you open, I don't know if any of you know anything about C-sections. They cut you in layers.
You missed the part when she said she just happened to be on this side of town.
Yeah, that too. My doctor lives an hour away from this hospital. And it was a Sunday. She really doesn't have no reason to be on this side. She's not scheduled to be on call at the hospital. Her office is closed over here. She said, but she randomly, her daughter's birthday was a few days ago. She wanted to go get her another gift, a late-minute gift. She said, but instead of going to the mall by her house, something tells her to drive down 1960 and go to a mall towards this way. She said, I don't know why. Something just told me to drive an hour away from my house towards the hospital. She said, so I did. I didn't think nothing of it. And then I randomly get a call about you, that I need to hurry up and get to the hospital with you. She was like, I really had no reason. Something placed me over here. And then she was like, and then when I cut you open, like I was saying, they cut you in layers. You know, they do your skin and the tissues. It's layers. It's not just one deep cut. She said, by the time I got through your skin, she said, I didn't have to cut anymore because it was fluid everywhere. She said, your whole uterus was ripped open and your daughter was laying directly under the fluid.
Submerged, yeah.
Being still, like she didn't want to move. She said, if your daughter was any bigger or she moved any more, everything in there would have came out. All your fluids, all the blood, y'all would have died within a couple of minutes, less than 5 minutes. She said, but your daughter was not moving. She's just laying there.
So luckily, we make small babies, because that was the problem,
Yes.
She said, luckily, we make small babies, or if it was any bigger, baby was any bigger, all the water, the baby would have came out. Yeah. I don't know.
And just been kind of floating under my skin, suffocating. It would have, I guess, been considered some type of dry birth in a way. I don't know. It was crazy. it was crazy because that other the hospital wasn't really taking us serious.
And I'm steady trying to tell the hospital, like, look, trying to give them a rundown of her situation, you know, and our kids that we had, because we had a premature baby. And I was trying to give them the history, like, look, y'all need to check her. You need to do this, you need to do that. Can you do this? Can you do that? Basically, I'm trying to tell them what the fuck they need to be doing. Man, we don't have this here. Y'all don't have a baby monitor here? Why the fuck are we here? And that pissed me off at that point, because I'm like, how the hell we supposed to be in emergency? Y'all don't even have nothing here to help us with. And y'all telling us not to leave because y'all think y'all can help her. Y'all won't gonna be able to do shit if our baby was born there. If she, you know, got the fucking passing out or something. But good thing that we did leave and get up here. But
it took to the paramedics to come for her to notice that me and the baby was in distress. Because every time I have these spells with all these pains and they're coming more in the hospital back to back. Because she had monitors, she was able to put on my stomach. She noticed that our daughter's heart rate would stop.
Yeah.
It'd lower. It'd go from like 140 all the way down to 60. Which is basically she finna die. So I've been going through this at this point for a little over 5 hours, and the other hospital didn't know because they don't care enough or I don't know what their situation is, but they don't have nothing for a baby. But they're holding me there.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, the first time it hit in the hospital on the way there, her heart rate dropped to like 86 from 144 or 86. But she came back up once the pain stopped. Second time, she didn't tell me that it dropped, but I'm noticing her. And she hurry ups and she puts me on oxygen. She tries to like lift up my hip, give me a little bit to my left, a little bit. The third time it came really, really hard. At this point, I'm in the back of the ambulance and I'm on tears. And she said that's when her heart rate dropped the lowest. They unstrapping me out of the bed. They got like all these race car seatbelts on me or whatever. So they're unstrapping me, they're pulling me over, they're rolling me over to my side, trying to rub my back, trying to shake my stomach. They're putting me turning the oxygen up because her heart rate wasn't raising. So at this point, they're like rushing, trying to get me to this other hospital. They get me back there, and it's doctors and nurses everywhere. At this point, my best friend Julie is there with me. You can see on her face, they're trying to get my rings off. She's getting my rings off my fingers, trying to get my belly ring out, my necklace, and I don't know what's going on. I'm like, where's David? She calls David. It's about 6 nurses in there. They can't get my IVs. If you look at my arms, I have bruises and holes everywhere. They can't find my veins.
Like 10 times. Then they have to put it in your neck.
Yeah, I woke up from surgery with a IV like PICC line in my neck. Because they couldn't find none of my veins in my arms. They're trying to give me fluid, so I'm drinking water to try to expand my veins. So I remember going into surgery with 2 IVs, and apparently I was fighting the anesthesia. But they couldn't give me regular anesthesia. They gave me general. They had to knock me out immediately because we was running out of time.
Well, yeah, before the surgery, though, after I walked in, they basically just... The doctor walked in maybe 5 minutes later and said, you're about to have a cesarean section. We like, what?
Yeah, it took us off guard because the other doctors ain't telling us nothing.
Oh, we have to wait till the doctor get here, so...
Yeah, they just, we're just
And then she's surprised.
Checking.
She's like, they didn't tell you? No, they didn't tell us shit.
We don't know what's going on. She's like, well, you have a full rupture. Your whole uterus is basically ripped in half. Your baby's just in there. We have to get her out. We have to do it now.
Literally, at 10 minutes at the get to here.
I'm in tears because who wants to go through that again? I went through this with Kaza back in 2015, and it was to the point then too where we're about to die, but this time it's worse because they're just trying to save either one of us at this point. They don't know who or how. At least with Kaza, David had a choice: save her or save your son. It was none of that this time. He wasn't even allowed to go back with me.
Yeah, they told me I couldn't go back there. So as they bring me the suit to put on, like they usually do, I'm thinking I'm going back there. So they give me the suit, and then the lady say, oh, no, he's not going to be able to go back there. We're having a general anesthesia or something. I'm like, what does that mean? You know, I've been there for all the other C-sections. Well, since she's going under anesthesia and she's getting put to sleep, you cannot be in there. I'm like, the fuck? So my eyes started watering immediately, started crying. Like, what the fuck? Because at that point, I feel like that's even more reason for me to be in there. Y'all putting her to sleep. I don't know what the fuck going on. don't know what y'all about to do to her. And it is, man, it was terrible, dude. And then
I'm scared, but I don't want to say I'm scared because he already has tears in his eyes, and I know he's panicking because that's movie stuff. When they just wheel your wife to the back.
Yeah, and I felt like shit. I was in there.
You don't know
They brought
what's
me to a
going
room
on.
by myself. I'm just sitting there like.
He was scared I wasn't gonna wake up.
I'm like, they wheeled her out and set me in his room. It was fast though. In like 10 minutes after sitting me in there, the lady come out like, baby's fine. You're sewing your wife up right now.
I don't remember. I just remember looking at the time. It says 7:20 and 2 seconds. And I'm panicking. My heart rate's going up because I don't know. I'm scared that I've never been put to sleep. Oh, 1 second, guys. Yes, you can come in.
Give us a break real quick.
Name is Jackie. I'll be your servant today. Can I get your name and date of birth?
Lashini Kynes, 127.95.
Oh, it's fine. You can leave it right there.
Okay, thank you. Where was I? Oh, the time. It was 7:20, 22 seconds. And I'm panicking because I'm scared. I've never been put to sleep before. I don't know what's about to happen. We watch movies and, you know, storylines always go. The mom goes back, don't wake up. I mean, that Kevin Hart movie that just happened. You know, and dad's left with the babies, you know, so I'm scared. Like, all my kids' faces run through my head. His face, the last face I seen with the tears in his eyes, I'm like, oh my God. Like, it comes down to this. What if I don't wake up? What if I don't survive this? I'm still not fully sure on what happened, why it happened, what's still happening. I don't know what's happening inside my body. I know my daughter's not moving. My husband has tears in his eyes. When I left this morning, all my kids were asleep. They know that I'm on my way to the hospital, but I didn't get to say anything to them. I didn't get to tell them I love them, so I'm panicking. My heart's beating fast. I have tears in my eyes. They have me on the cold metal table. I'm not numb like usual because they don't have enough time to numb me. They just put masks on my face trying to knock me out.
Yeah, this one like to use.
Then I was calmed myself down to the point like, okay, you know, I talk to myself, talk to my ancestors, talk to God, like, okay, you're gonna wake up. You're gonna wake up. Then the thought went through my head, what if I wake up and I don't have my daughter? I don't have my third daughter. I don't want to leave this hospital. My baby's not alive. So I'm panicking again, like, oh my God. Same time, they still trying to knock me out. They still can't get IV situated. But I was like, scared. I didn't want to, no mother wants to lose their baby before they die. Like, I'm not meant to bury my baby. Like, I'm not. It's a lot on me. So I'm scared. Like, what if she doesn't make it? She's not moving. She's not moving. And they're like, calm down. You have to calm down. Your blood pressure's going up. I'm basically hyperventilating in there on my back. And then I'm already panicking because I'm used to having him by my side during all my surgeries. And he's not there. I'm just in there by myself. Like, I really have trust issues when it comes to doctors. I'm panicking. Like, anything can happen. I don't want to die alone. I don't want to die alone. I don't want my daughter to die alone. I'm going to be knocked out. I don't want to wake up and she's gone. So I'm scared. And they're just like, paused. I was like, do you need to pray? But by this time, I've already, you know, did all my stuff in my head. And I'm like, no, just do what you need to do at this point to save her. Just save her. I always want my babies to live before I do. Please just save her. They're like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We're going to do everything we can as fast as we can and make sure you guys are comfortable. That's all I need to hear. I was confident and I was out real fast, like really, really fast. I swear I didn't see the time change from that 7 hour, 20 minutes and 2 seconds. I did not see the time change. I just remember waking up in excruciating pain. And they were trying to touch me and poke me and prod, and I'm crying because I don't have any numbing. So I woke up like I'm still in surgery with all these cuts in the inside of my stomach, staples and stitches all over my uterus, the outside of my stomach, and you guys are trying to touch me. Like, don't touch me. Please just give me something. Like,
yeah, when she woke up,
tell me my baby's okay and give me something. Where's my baby? Did she cry? That's the only thing I know. that was going through my head. Where is she? Is she alive? If I'm alive, if I'm talking, I don't care about myself at this point. Where is she?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when they wheeled you out, she was in so much pain.
I was in a chair on the bed. In the bed, right?
Yeah.
They pushed me on the bed?
Yeah, push you on one of these. Some
Okay.
shit. Yeah, they brought her out. And she was in so much pain. Because it's not like the usual C-section that she usually get when they put the epidural on her back. Kind of numbs everything. They just put her to sleep. Cut her, everything. When she woke up, she was in so much pain. And she was just crying and crying. And it hurt my feelings. I swear, if I could take the pain, I would have. It was so much.
I don't remember much else from that point, from right before the surgery. I have gaps. Like, I don't remember much from that night at all. They said she was born at 7:30.
Yeah. And by the way, she's 2 pounds. She was born 2 pounds, 14 ounces.
14 and 3/4 inches long.
So it's like a pound bigger than our second born was.
Yes, because Kaza was 1 pound, 11 ounces, 12 inches long.
So, well, that's what's been going on. You got anything else you need to say? Something that we might be missing?
I don't know, because I have no recollection of the rest of the day. I just remember that pain. Like my body was like literally on fire from the inside out. You said that I was pushing the doctor's arms or something.
Yeah, I was holding your arms because you wouldn't let them touch your stomach. Make sure your uterus was okay.
They should have did that shit while I was asleep.
She was like, please don't touch me, please. She crying, like screaming, please don't touch me. Wait till the medicine kick in first, please. And it just broke me down. I'm like, oh, my poor baby. If I could take your pain, I would have.
Yeah, but I wouldn't want you to go through that bad.
Yeah, but it was terrible. Well, that's our near-death experience. No more kids,
our
y'all.
second near-death experience. Yeah, we can't have any more kids. My uterus is tore up.
No more kids. No more kids.
Her name is Zoe Asia 6 Hines.
6 kids. 6 Hines. All right, y'all. Make sure y'all go hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Please comment down below if you have any questions. We will get back with you. Follow us on Instagram at DaveLala40 and follow her at I'mReallyHer_. Right?
Lala.
Lala. All right, y'all. We out.